Hey class, Jonathan Nagel here talking about GPS navigation for older aircraft. In the picture here you see Memphis International Airport. Wish the jet in the background was me, but it's not. The sweet little PA-32 in the front is me, and at 1979 GPS was certainly not around, but the aircraft is equipped with GPS navigation, and we're going to discuss that a little bit in the following slides. So to get us started, here's a picture of a new PA-28, which is what I do most of my training in. It is equipped with the Garmin G1000 that so many of us are extremely familiar with. Great to have, wonderful avionics, accessibility, screen size, everything is great about it. But if you do have an older aircraft, that doesn't mean that you are limited in capabilities. For the budget-minded individual that's just simply looking for a little bit of additional awareness with GPS navigation help, there are handheld devices that are out there and available for use, certified for aviation use. However, there's many features that are going to be lacking on these, to include some of the stuff that we'll be talking about here in the next couple of slides as we go over some of the more modern avionic upgrades that are available for older aircraft. There's a lot of different options to go with when it comes to deciding what to integrate into your older aircraft. These are just a couple of different Garmin options. Price point is going to be a big part of deciding which route to go for your particular aircraft. Also keep in mind that not all avionics, not all GPS systems are certified for every aircraft. So you'll want to make sure to check with the manufacturer that they do in fact have it certified for the aircraft that you're looking to install it in. This is the Garmin GNS 530. The Garmin GNS 530 WAS is what is equipped in the 1979 PA-32 that I get the privilege of flying when I'm not in my trainer. Amazing little piece of equipment. When the owner decided to do a little upgrading a few years ago, he opted to put this piece of equipment in the aircraft to provide WAS GPS navigation, just to make his navigation from point A to point B a little easier, and to give the aircraft an upgrade. So I like to consider the GNS 530 as kind of a mini G1000. Obviously, there's certain things that it doesn't provide. This is just strictly GPS, and we're missing the rest of the stuff in it, but it does give us obstacle alerts, terrain alerts. It is WAS certified for WAS GPS, and it does give a high resolution map. We can zoom in and see what we're flying over the top of. It does also have additional options for XM weather, and with certain devices added on, you can add XM satellite radio to it as well. And it is also capable of coupling with many autopilot systems that are out there. The aircraft that I fly with this piece of equipment does not have it fully coupled with the autopilot, so I'm unable to use it for approaches, which is very important to know prior to getting into the aircraft and programming everything through. But like I said earlier, it will fly or will give you guidance for all of your procedures. So many of us fly in and out of larger airports. Myself, I fly out of Flying Cloud Airport in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. That's KFCM. That's also the home base for the PA-32 that I fly. As you can see here, it gives us a wide list of procedures to include VOR options, but of course there's many different GPS options for our approach procedures as well. But not all airports are like this. So what happens when we want to fly into a place like Glencoe Municipal? This particular airport is frequently used for training. It's just west of Flying Cloud, so for those of us that train in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, any of the western suburbs or northern suburbs of, we head west primarily for our training, and this is one of the very popular options out there. As you can see, for the approach procedures, all we have is GPS. So for me, a major benefit of having the GPS on board, especially with an older aircraft, to have it integrated in, is I can now fly into this place in IFR conditions. Previously, we would be unable to land or depart this area in IFR conditions. There is no VOR, so extremely limited in its use. But now with the invention of GPS and the wider range of approaches that we're given at the smaller airports, we're blessed with the ability to go in and out of these under IFR conditions. So it doesn't have to be clear blue and 22 for us to go wings up. So when you're upgrading an older aircraft and adding a GPS unit such as the GNS 530, it's one thing to consider, or one thing to remember, is it does add complexity to navigation. You're no longer just using paper charts, paper maps. You now have to learn a new skill and learn how to program the new piece of equipment. But it can also aid in situational awareness by giving you that terrain avoidance, and also help reduce workload by coupling into your autopilot and flying your approach procedures for you. So although it can be a little daunting for individuals that aren't familiar with it at first, once it's understood and you know how to function the entire unit properly, I really do believe that it aids in overall safety as we fly. So whether you're flying the new stuff like the Archer on the bottom or the old stuff on top, that's integrated with the new avionics, GPS systems are nothing to be afraid of, but they are to be respected. Don't think that a person's going to be able to just hop into an aircraft and start pushing buttons and figure it out. Certainly advise anybody that's transitioning into an aircraft with GPS navigation, especially a unit that they're not familiar with, to spend substantial ground time familiarizing themselves with all of the functions and features. And then when you go up, make sure you go up with somebody that is familiar with the system and fly several hours, get some good air time. If you're using it for approach procedures, make sure that you practice that. Go through, don't leave yourself in the dark when you need to use it. Make sure that you're aware of all of the functions and features and how to go about utilizing the system that you have. Fly safe.